Hi, I'm Caroline Timmerberg, and you're watching Carolina. It's the most obscure web show on the internet, and you may ask yourself, where did my funk go? Well, it's sitting next to me in the form of Carlos Sosa, Fernando Castillo, and Reggie Watkins, and they are the Grooveline Horns. They are in tour right now with Jason Mraz, and they have stopped in Düsseldorf, Germany, and they've been kind enough to sit and talk to us for a few minutes. So, hi guys, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for coming.
This is Carlos, Reggie, and this is Fernando, just so you know. Okay, so how's the tour going so far?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's really good. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tour's great.
Yeah, so you're about halfway through. You're about halfway through your European tour, and then you've got just a smattering of shows left, and you go back to the States, right?
We go back. Let's see, we're staying in London for our last show is at the O2 on December 1st, and then every time we go to London, we kind of use it to. We do a lot of recording there. We've got a lot of friends.
Oh, cool.
So we're staying for about 4 or 5 days, doing some gigs with some friends and recording a lot. And,
Yeah.
hanging out. And, London's been really good to us.
Yeah.
So, and then we go home for about 3 days. Then we go to New York and play Madison Square Garden, and then we go to Burma.
Oh, wow.
And then we're off for Christmas. We have like 2 months off.
Yeah.
We start touring again. Then we release our record somewhere in there.
Right, the record. We'll talk about that in a second. I wanted to know, how do you stay centered with all the travel? You know, isn't that difficult? Because the countries just kind of fly by like in a Flintstones cartoon, like chair, lamp, table. I mean, how do you kind of stay grounded with all the touring that you do?
I think we probably each have our own things. You know, we like to go eat. We like to
That's a
eat.
big one. That's the centering.
That's a centering.
It's centering.
No, I mean, we work out. We, just do it. You get a routine, so you kind of like, you have to take care of yourself, and but we're all family, and we've been together for so long.
You've been together for what, 16 years? That's right.
Around there, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
How did you meet? So how did you all get to know each other?
Oh,
Oh, they're good stories.
That's a good story.
Does it involve swear words and other?
Well, I was in high school and he was in college, and
Yeah.
I was a big fan of his. In San Antonio, or in Texas at the time, there was a bunch of funk bands, and a lot of them have horns. And it's funny, it's like that's how it started, and now there's a lot of funk bands again with horns. So it's like this whole, it's like we went through the 80s and and then grunge and all this stuff, and nobody used horns, and now they're finally back. But he was in a band that I was a huge fan of, and so we were friends. I was actually friends with the saxophone player. I went to college in San Marcos, about 30 miles outside of Austin, and his band was playing in Austin, and he went to the University of North Texas, so they were, I guess it was like 3.5 hour drive, and they actually left him there. It's one of those things, you missed the bus call.
Well, we're playing every Thursday, so the bus got left, and I go, hey man, can you come get me? So I had to wait for the next time that they came around.
No.
And then he's like, if you ever, decide to move down or something, just, let me know.
Oh my God.
One day I called him, and me and that sax player moved to Austin.
Yeah.
And there was where I was going to move into was this girl. She had a big old Great Dane, so we didn't get along. I was like, hey.
Were you and the girl, or you and the dog?
Me and the dog.
He stayed with me, and then we, I was going to college, and we just we started playing on 6th Street with a bunch of bands in Austin. We ended up playing like 5 nights a week, not getting paid like $5 maybe, but we were playing a lot, and it's kind of like we were training.
Yeah. No, Reggie, where were you?
Yeah, well, I'm originally from the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
So I was doing a bunch of traveling, and I mean, these guys met in college, and I met them later. I was doing a bunch of traveling with Maynard Ferguson, who was
cool.
a jazz trumpet player, and that was who I was with for years. And moving around the country, I came to Austin. There were some connections from the people that I worked with, connections with these guys. And we just stayed in touch, and every time I would come into Texas, I would make a point to, come and see these guys and see what
Yeah.
they were up to, and we worked on some projects together, and eventually decided to they needed somebody to come in and play trombone
Yeah.
into their section, so made the decision about 5 years ago to join these guys.
Yeah. How long into your knowing each other did you realize, wow, we really click? We're really solid, the three of us. How long did that take?
Yeah, we were playing in a band forever.
Mhm.
It's kind of weird, like the Texas thing, and it still happens. It's like you can, because we've been playing with Gary Clark Jr. recently, who's getting really popular now. We've done a lot of pop acts. You know, you can't really make any money in Austin,
Yeah.
but there's so many great musicians. So, and it's super competitive. But we, so you have to, you know, get road gigs or touring gigs or recording elsewhere to make a good living.
Yeah.
But when we played, we did the Tonight Show with Gary probably about a month ago in his band, and it was so refreshing. It's like, it's kind of like this, like you've never played with each other directly, but everybody has kind of played with everybody, and it's this like you learn from the same people in the same scene, and then when you play together, it's like
It
it's like- it
gels
gels
I mean,
perfectly.
you get up there and play. I think when we did that show, for me it was like the first time we did sound check, and I'd never played with the guy. I think we jammed together something, but the first time was on TV. He goes, "Oh, okay," and then now the second time we played together, we were doing the taping. So
Yeah.
and it just
we
worked.
were playing together with the bands on 6th Street, and everybody started asking us like, "Oh my God, you guys, you know, I guess the goal for a horn section for us is just to phrase together and sound like one person, you know."
Yeah. Yeah.
And people kept telling us, they're like, "Oh my God, you guys, you know, you sound like one person." They kept telling us all this stuff, and then finally, one day we were sitting outside of out of our apartment in San Marcos, and we're still in college, and so we're gonna do this. We're gonna start a horn section, and this is what we're gonna do for the rest of our lives. Like it was a conscious thing that's the direction we're gonna go. We're gonna record on everybody's records, and we're gonna tour with everybody, and then you know, almost 20 years later, it's actually
So
happening.
excellent. Well, you guys you're winning over a whole new audience, aren't you? Because of people to appreciate the horn section.
Yeah.
And you make it so cool, you guys with your matching hairdo.
It wasn't intentional.
No, really?
It was nature.
Oh, it looks rad. It looks really good. But yeah, do you find you're winning over like do you get a lot of good fan feedback on your shows?
Because I mean it's cool. We've got this, and we've got the opportunity to play with Jason and other big artists and have access to their fans, and then their fans can say, "Hey, look at what these guys are doing in relationship to this music that we love," because we have a lot of freedom on Jason's band to be ourselves and write the horn stuff and contribute to the music, and then get to do our thing in his context and just kind of widen our audience hopefully.
Yeah, that's good. So now, Gary Parker, do you have plans to work with him in the future when you get back to the States?
Gary Clark Jr.
Oh, Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good fit for us. We love playing with him. And that little run we just did was pretty intense. Inside of a week of doing a video shoot, we did a video with him. Immediately turned around and went to LA and did Jay Leno, and then flew to New York for Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of stuff in a short amount of time.
You guys
and
are
when we're off tour,
constantly
we want
moving,
to, we love
It was
Gary.
funny because we had like 2-week break, and we get
From
home
Jason,
from
yeah.
Jason, and we've been touring for 4 months. Everybody's excited to be home and relax. And normally when we get home, the three of us, I mean, we basically live together for and so we don't speak to each other for about 2 or 3 days, and then we're like, everybody comes out from underwater, and they're like, we start talking. Okay, what do we need to do? We all rested. And, but it was like 2 days after that. Gary said he sent me a text. He said, "Hey, can you do a video shoot with me?" I was like, "Yeah, man, we can do it." So
Maybe.
we go down, do the video shoot, and then while he's there, "Hey, can you go to LA with me tomorrow and do Jay Leno?" We're like, "Yeah, okay." We go, and the third day in LA, he's like, "Can you go to New York and do?" And we're like, by the time we get
Our
done with
schedule's being made as we go.
Exactly.
Day by day, hour by hour.
and then we had to do this Christmas record thing with
Yeah.
one of our sponsors or our endorsers, a headphone company, Soul Republic, and so that's kind of our lives though. It's like, you know, people want us to do this, they ask us to do this. We want to do everything.
Yeah.
You know, and but it's good to have that problem that, you know, we're in demand,
Yeah.
so it's great.
Well, you're so
Love it.
lovable, and you have such explosive personalities, and it's absolutely visible. You know, you're magnets you're chick magnets. That's what you are. Yes, you are.
Cut that part out.
I know.
We'll edit that one out.
we were saying earlier that, of course, when a band wants to get people to move, they get a horn section. So what do you think it is about the sound of the horns that gets people, that gets the message to the brain? It's okay for you to move now. You can move your body. What do you think? What is that?
With us being a real section, it's not like we're a couple of horn players standing on stage. We're kind of we become part of the rhythm.
Mm.
So the rhythm becomes more effective and dramatic when we accentuate the rhythm.
Yeah.
So, you know, these little hits and everything we do, a lot of the time they're linked somehow to the rhythm,
Yeah.
and it just kind of increases all that feeling, I think.
Now, you guys, do you sing as well? You do vocals?
Yeah.
And do you play other instruments? Are you multi-instrumentalist?
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We all have our little secondary.
Yeah, and you all do, because you have you're doing, you tour with Jason, of course, now. Then you have all your solo projects, and then you also work with other artists. So how do you balance everything? That's really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Work all the time.
we just got a manager probably 2 years ago, so
Yeah.
that happened. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been really hard to work on our own music. Like, we're almost done. We're probably about 95% done with our first full length, you know, record.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wrote and produced, and it's great. We hired a producer, but it kind of exceeded our expectations. It's really, really great.
Well, let's talk about the new record.
Yeah.
When's that coming out? Is that baby coming out?
Well, hopefully early next year, February, March. It was really difficult for us because I'd pretty much known all of the producers in Texas and didn't really want to go. We wanted somebody that, our manager found somebody and he said, hey, I have a meeting with this guy, and I had a meeting with him, and basically it's like, okay, look, we don't have any songs.
Mm-hmm.
We're not singer-songwriters, we're a horn section. We have a bunch of licks, so let's make a record. So, you know what I mean? It's like, nobody's gonna jump at that really, except there's somebody really artistic that's up for a challenge, you know? And he was totally like that. He was this guy, Josh Moore, super talented. He was so game for it. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's create something out of nothing, like really be creative about this. And it worked, you know, it really worked. We had our influences, like we made this playlist of all the stuff that we liked. We're kind of gearing it towards film and TV. Like, I love the Ocean's 11 stuff, David Holmes, that kind of vibe. And we all, we're big salsa fans and all these different things that we really love. And put it together and then started writing, and then he would come up with stuff, and we did a lot online, you know. He would send us a track and we would send us him chord changes, and he'd come up with this thing, because he was a huge hip-hop producer for a while. He still does it a lot in Houston, so he's really good with making beats and stuff. And, so that's how it's come about, and it's almost done, and I couldn't be happier, really.
Yeah, the work with him was cool. He's younger than us, but at the same time, he's had a ton of experience. He's a multi-instrumentalist. And, I mean, to kind of show us, in a way, the possibilities of what we can do, where our music can kind of manifest. Because we didn't want to make a funk record, you know, and he has such a wide and interesting palette of influences, and us doing our thing and working with him and kind of, you know, showed us some of the possibilities. So that's why we're so excited about this record.
You know, the other thing I think it took us kind of out of our, you know,
out of our
comfort zone
for sure.
And not so the music, but also some of the players. You know, there was players that we would use all the time. You know, you get so comfortable with those guys, and you know what you're going to get from those guys.
Yeah.
And then so we went and used some other guys. That
We
maybe
went through a
wanna
process of using, say, well, let's put this guy with this guy.
And
this
see what it
guy.
sounds like.
Get in the studio and see how that sounds. And that worked out nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So it comes out, what, like in February?
Hopefully, we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You know, we did this one track. One of the first things that we did. Well, I'll go through a process. Like, we were sitting. I was working on this guy Chuck Rainey's record, who is a bass player, and he did legendary. Like, he played on all the Toto stuff, all the Michael Jackson, like Off the Wall. And he played on all the Steely Dan, like the guy, right? And we were working on a solo record at my house, and I told him to check his microphone for his vocals. So I'm recording him, and he's got this really deep, he's probably late
Storyteller
60s,
voice.
like almost a Morgan Freeman type voice, really. And he's telling this story, a poem, and it's kind of it's funny, and it's like a jungle poem about this monkey and this lion or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. When I was in college, I remember, because I went to recording school, and they're like, if anybody's saying anything, you always want to record.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my god, I just record. And I just let him go on, So that happened. It was brilliant. Saved it. Then we had a meeting with our producer Josh. Said, oh my god, you got to listen to this thing. So he listened to it. He's like, oh my god, that's perfect. We have to write music to that and put it on the record. So we did it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
God, and what's that guy's name again?
His name's Chuck Rainey.
Oh, no, yeah, because we listened to it this morning. That thing is
And this
great.
that story was amazing. It started with this little, I guess it was like an African folkloric tale, or something. And he's talking, and from that came the track, and inspired all the horn parts.
And we were talking about,
sound.
it was first for us that we were talking about a picture, like, what is he trying, like, what would an elephant sound like stomping through the woods, and how could we make that happen with horns,
Yeah.
And then it happens, it's like that. It was the best thing for us, to actually try to like visualize something and make it happen with our instruments.
That is such a nice piece. We listened to it this morning. It was
So you heard it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that baby. Yeah.
And it's great that it was just a vocal track.
Yeah. He's fantastic, that guy. Great voice. Yeah. So guys, okay, now you have a couple weeks left here, and then you're going to go home, and you're going to go to London.
We go to London.
And work
do
a
some
while.
recording.
Yeah.
Go home for 2 days.
Yeah.
Quick show at.
I'm going to say quick show.
Quick show in Burma.
Quick show in New York City.
Quick shower.
New York City.
And-
Quick shower. Quick show in New York.
Hop on the plane. Go to
And we finish off in Myanmar, if you can believe it.
No way. Yeah. So, have you done Asia already, or is that?
Yeah,
Done
we
Asia
did
in
that.
April.
Okay.
We're probably going back.
Yeah. You guys. I just appreciate so much that you took time to sit and talk with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
Just love you guys.
Oh,
You coming to the show?
Love you. Yes. Yes. For sure. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get close and we can have eye contact.
I know her.
All right. Well, good luck with everything, and go out there and get people like shaking their,
Shooting there.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
shake that whatever that is, that thing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.